Do you want me to pee all over Paul Rudd's dog because he and Tim actually did their jobs and made people laugh? There are 8% of the critics who've seen it that did not like Friendship, so let's go ahead and roast them. Kyle Pinion from Screen Rex gives it a fresh score, says, is it the best big screen comedy since Bridesmaid? Probably so. You're comparing Friendship to Bridesmaids. That's an insult to Friendship. Bridesmaids was just another cast of goofy females trying unsuccessfully to make people laugh. They're like, oh, look at me. I can make jokes and wear a tampon at the same time. Yeah, well, I have 8 squares of 3-ply toilet paper shoved up my butthole because of my hemorrhoids. All that to say, if I had actually seen Bridesmaids, I would have some jokes to say about it. Louisa Moore from Screen Zealots gives Friendship a rotten score. She says, it's not the type of film that is particularly fun to watch, especially because it leans so heavily into off-putting cringe comedy. You know, I disagree. I do everything I can to inject any form of cringe and awkwardness into my life. Take last year, for example, the time when I played Naked and Dead in the bathtub for 9.5 hours, just waiting for my wife to get home. We had a big fight that morning, so I thought that if she came home to find me dead, she would feel so bad that she would apologize for the fight we had, even though nothing was her fault. I just wanted to be right for once. Is that so hard to understand? But instead of apologizing, she just starts crying as soon as she sees the red dye rolling down my wrist. She cried so hard I couldn't understand a word she was saying. So I never heard her apologize for nothing. Even when the medicine people showed up, she still couldn't find it in her to apologize. Oh, that was so annoying! So annoying! Oh, but at least it was better than spending another dull night playing Old Maid. Sometimes I wish I died an old maid. Michael Nordine from Movie Brief says, the dark comedy you've been waiting for. Have you seen the servings of movies we've been given this year? Forget this year. What about the last decade? I've given up waiting on the best comedy since Anchorman fizzled out. Like, I had just lost all faith that we would ever get even another comedy in the theaters, or just even direct to video, something that was actually funny. It's like one day Hollywood just said, no more comedies. Everything has to be serious now. Everyone has to be a girl. And can we fix one more gay in the scene, please? We need to represent. Represent people. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Hey, boom mic guy, stop laughing. No laughing. I don't want somebody else complaining to me that their feelings are hurt because somebody was laughing at them. Now, where's my transsexual Apache? That's what a movie set sounds like these days. So no, Michael, I had no hope of waiting for a movie like this. I'm glad you liked it, though. Mark Kennedy from Associated Press gives Friendship a fresh score. He says, do us all a favor and see it with your buddies. And if you see a guy there all alone, maybe reach out. I did that once when I went to see I Am Legend all by myself. There was a heavier man sitting directly in front of me. So I was a little bit higher than him, see? When Will Smith was looking for his dog in the warehouse, I was so freaked out that I had to caress somebody's cheek because that's what I do when I'm afraid, you see? So I stood up and I reached my hand down next to him so that I could press the back of my hand up against his cheek. But then he stood up, twirled around, and pointed a Glock at me. A Glock! I put my hands up so fast and I said, please don't shoot. This isn't The Dark Knight Rises. Don't shoot! Now, the only reason he didn't shoot me is because he'd seen that I had taken to my own cheek and sought comfort from my own face. He took pity on me. But the funniest thing is when I woke up the next morning, my hand was on his cheek, resting peacefully, and his hand was on top of mine, holding it there. Naturally, we called each other legends throughout our torrid affair. So unless you're looking for a fling that ends in a heartache, I suggest you don't reach out and touch the nearest guy next to you in the dark theater. All right, let's move on over to the audience reviews. Robbie M gives Friendship 1.5 stars and says, I went to an early screening of this, and majority of the audience was laughing in the most obnoxious way I've ever experienced in a theater. It made me really dislike this film. What, because people were laughing? Was their merriment and mirth too hard to handle? Do you want me to pee all over Paul Rudd's dog because he and Tim actually did their jobs and made people laugh? Lynn G gives Friendship 1.5 stars, says, I thought this movie would be hilarious, but it's Justrandom. That's the word that best describes it. What word? What's Justrandom? What's Justrandom? Can somebody help? What does that mean? Josh gives Friendship 5 stars. He says, very funny movie, but the theater was way too hot and my wife will never go back there. Yeah, but what did you think of the movie? Let's get Paul and Tim on the phone and bitch about how Josh's wife was extremely overheated during the movie in the theater that they chose. They could not have left the theater at any point so that they could go finish it in a cooler theater down the road. You know what? I am probably taking this too far. This kind of reminds me of the time I purchased a potty squatty. And when I missed and fell on the hard tile floor, do you know what their customer service representative told me? Nothing! Nothing, because I never called to complain, because it was my own damn fault. No Name gives Friendship 5 stars, says, a completely unlikable doofus that makes a series of bad decisions, his grammar error, not mine, that lead to 0 laughs. Many in the crowd laughed along. Oh, whoa. 0 laughs. Everyone else was rolling in the aisles, except for this guy, because from him came 0 laughs. Thomas A gives Friendship 5 stars and says, loved it. Will watch Tim do anything. You hear that, Tim? If given the chance, Thomas would watch you apply vegetable oil inside the nose of a rhinoceros and watch you lick it out with your bare tongue. Tim, Thomas will watch you chew on a glow stick. Tim, the next time you mix all the books up in a library, Thomas wants to be there to watch. Hey, Tim, Thomas wants to watch you buy things from the dollar store and then put them on shelves in more expensive stores. No Name gives Friendship 5 stars, says, funniest movie I've seen in theaters in a long time. Even better the second time. What? You've seen it twice? I haven't even seen it once because it's not playing anywhere around here. I want to see this movie so bad. But anyway, while I was trying to figure out how to see this movie and couldn't find any results, I did a little bit of a thought experiment. And I thought to myself, how would I, as a 40-something-year-old male adult, make friends today? And I came up with a few good ideas. I wrote them down, so bear with me here. One idea is you can ask somebody, what country are they from? Anything along the lines of what race are you? What nationality? What exactly is your skin color? If your skin color were a crayon, what color would you be? Another one is stick some toilet paper under the stall along with a stick of gum. Also, you can run over somebody jaywalking, and then you can get out of the car, you can start a conversation with, did you see that? And then the last one, I put a lot of thought into this, so just bear with me. What you do is you wait until the first snow of winter. You shovel your walkway so you can pull your car out for work. Always keep your Stanley cup full of cocoa or cranberry juice, whichever one you prefer. You can be flexible on that. Do the hot cocoa. Stick with the hot cocoa. Do the Nesquik kind so that you have a rabbit on the powder tin. And then every day after work, snuggle up in a corner in your favorite pub with a blanket. Nurse something imported. Wave to any patrons that make eye contact with you. Perform these steps on constant repeat all throughout winter, pausing only to trim your nails. Then, on the first day of spring, ask somebody how their winter was. Good, they'll say. What about yours? You'll reply, don't I have a story for you? And then, after you tell him all about your winter, he'll get all misty-eyed, and then he'll say to you, I thought you hated me all this time. All this time, we've been desk mates, and you've never said a word to me. And now, you're opening up to me. And then, since the two of you connected so deeply, when you hit him with your car, you can ask him a more personal question. Did it hurt? That's all I've got for you. I swear the next time I roast the critics, I'll do it on a movie that I have actually seen. Yeah, well, I have about 8 squares of 3... Yeah, well, I've got about 8... Do this line. While Robinson is exactly the right actor to play the peculiarly not mad, I'm pissed. Alright, here we go. And then, this one, your tail. Go. I love you.